is officially over, which means we can do the mid-year book freakout tag. Hello lovely book dragons and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Joana and I like to talk about books on this channel, specifically fantasy books. And today we're going to be checking in with the most famous tag of all, the most famous tag on BookTube, and that is the mid-year book freakout tag. I will leave the originals linked down below. They're so old, like this tag is very old. So I will leave the original video linked down below so you can go check it out. And yeah, I have the questions right here. I haven't prepared this one. I'm just going to go with my gut feeling in this video, and then we will see what the books I've read, talking about disappointments, about books I loved, surprises, characters, all those things. So let's go. Question number 1. Best book you've read so far in 2021. All right, so at this point I've read 57 books, which at the end of June, and I'm not counting rereads. That's one of my rules. I don't want to count rereads, and I will try to avoid mentioning the same authors over and over again, which I will see. But the best book I've read so far this year, if I'm not counting rereads, because I don't want to use the same author for all these questions, I'm actually going to say that the best book I've read so far this year is *Senlin Ascends* by Josiah Bancroft. This book, guys, it took me by surprise, which is another question in this tag, but I'm going to use something else for that one. This book was just so good. I actually have a whole review of it with parts spoilery vlog in it. It's like non-spoiler review and then vlog, which I will leave linked up here. Senlin Ascends is a story of Thomas Senlin, who is a headmaster in his town's school. And he gets married to his wife Maria, and together they go to the Tower of Babel for their honeymoon. But the second they get there, they kind of lose sight of each other and he loses his wife. And this book is the story of Senlin ascending the tower to find his wife Maria. Now, that sounds maybe kind of boring, but it isn't. So this tower is built with different ringdoms, and each ringdom has something completely unique about it. And each ringdom is kind of like a world in and of itself. And it is just so fascinating. I am picking Senlin Ascends and not Armor of the Sphinx or The Hot King because this is what started it. I'm trying to pick always books that started because this book, it just like blew me away, and I loved Armor of the Sphinx and The Hot King so good. The sequels are just as good as Senlin Ascends, but I will pick Senlin because this story is a little bit more quiet. It's more about Senlin and the tower and getting to know this weird, whimsical place, whereas the other ones we follow also other characters, which I love. The characters in these novels are phenomenal. Some of my favorite new characters of the year are in the Books of Babel, and I cannot wait to get to the last one, which this says something, guys. I started this series and I'm completely caught up. Like, I read one book per month of this series because I loved it that much. Question 2, best sequel you've read so far in 2021. This is a no-brainer. I'm gonna pick Ruin by John Gwynne. I was gonna put this one in the best book I've read, but then I didn't want to repeat it. And Ruin, I would actually say that Valor was a phenomenal sequel to Malice by John Gwynne. I actually also have a review of Malice here on the channel, which I will also leave linked up here. Valor was a phenomenal sequel, but Ruin was just chef's kiss amazing, and so was Wrath. Honestly, Wrath is one of the best concluding novels I have read in my life. I feel like the series was wrapped up so well. But yeah, Ruin, I'm picking Ruin here because the emotions I felt in that book. There was some moments where you were cheering and then moments where you were like on the ground destroyed. I have physical evidence here that, well, photographic evidence that I sobbed my way through the ending. Like, when I was done with the book, I had tear stains on my book. It was an experience reading these. I love these books so much. If you are not reading The Faithful and the Fallen, if you're not reading John Gwynne, you have to. His books are phenomenal, and Ruin is the third book, and it's definitely my favorite sequel I've read. Question 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. For this one, I am going to say The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I didn't want to mention a lot of repeat authors, but this one is definitely the one that I wanted to get to ASAP the second I got it, and I haven't yet. I don't really know why yet. I think I've been scared to get into something else that's not the Faithful and the Fallen and the Banished Lands in general. So I am gonna be reading this book this year still, for sure, because I'm so excited about it. But yeah, I haven't yet, and that makes me sad, so I need to rectify that. Question 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm going to pick 2 books for this one. The first one is The Fall of Babel. It is the concluding novel in the Books of Babel, with Senlin being the first one. I cannot wait to get to this. I think this is going to be the book that the second it comes out, I'm going to start listening to the audiobook because the audiobooks are phenomenal. I'm just looking forward to this one so much. And this series, if the landing sticks, it's going to be one of my all-time favorite series. It is already now, unless the ending is really crap, which I don't think. I don't think Josiah Bancroft can write a bad book. So this is the first book, and the other release that I'm super looking forward to for the second half of the year is The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. I'm not yet caught up with all of his books, which I'm working on right now over the summer. I'm going to be getting caught up so that in September, when this releases, I can just pick it up immediately and read it, because I love Joe Abercrombie and I can't wait to read the rest of the First Law and conclude this trilogy with other people who are reading it. I'm so excited. Question number 5, biggest disappointment. For this one, I'm going to go with the book that I actually DNF'd, and that is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I had heard so many phenomenal reviews about this one. So many of my friends actually love this book, and I was just really expecting to go into it and absolutely love it. It is a sci-fi novel with multiple universes, and our main character is someone who can go to many of these different worlds because she has died in most of them. That sounds phenomenal, right? And for some people, this book was phenomenal. I know that my friends Angela and Ali both love this book. This is actually Ali's favorite book of last year, and I was so looking forward to it. I really thought I was gonna love it. And unfortunately, I DNF'd it at 65%. This was really the kind of book that, you know, the kind of book when you have time to read, and then you know, oh, but it's that book that I'm gonna be reading, I don't wanna read. So that's kind of what I had with this book. I wasn't invested at all in our main character. This is very, even though you have this, it sounds like it would be plot driven, but it is very character driven. And if you don't like the main character, you will not care about this book. And this was such a disappointment. I didn't even finish it. I had Angela spoil the ending for me, and she said, but it's not about what happens, it's about the character. And I was like, no, I know, 100% she's right. And I didn't care about the character, so I didn't care about what happened. This one, I'm really sad I didn't love it. Question 6, biggest surprise. I actually have 2 books for this question because, you know, I always have multiple answers, or I tend to have multiple answers. The first one is Guards by Terry Pratchett. I also have a full review of this on the channel, which I will also leave linked up here. This one I was really scared about because I tend to not like nonsensical things. I tend to not like absurdism, and I was really worried about the writing style. And in my review, I go into more depths of why I was so apprehensive to get into it. So I highly recommend that you check that out if you want to. But I actually really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I am continuing already in the Discworld. I am reading Mort, and I'm also reading Men at Arms. I'm continuing through the City Watch books, which is the city that Guards starts, and I'm reading the Death books because I just had such a good time reading it, and I was reading it with my friends Gregory and Joana, and we had a live show about it, and that made me love it even more, the discussions that we had there. And so yeah, I'm gonna pick Guards as a super surprise because I didn't think I was gonna love it, and I ended up loving it so much that I continued in the Discworld. The second book that surprised me, I haven't yet talked about on the channel because my June wrap-up isn't up yet, but that is Pure Nacy by Susanna Clarke. Again, I tend to not like whimsical, weird books that are... I love fantasy, but I don't like stuff that could almost be magical realism, absurdism, that kind of stuff. And this is kind of that, and I loved it. I loved it so much. This book, it's like a fever dream, and I could not put it down. In this book, we follow our main character who lives in a world that's made of statues, and it's like a big, big house that has an ocean in it, and there's a lot of marble statues, and it's so weird. And in the beginning, you can be a bit confused, and it's also a mystery, and it's just so beautiful. It's so short. Honestly, if you want to read it, just go ahead, pick it up, because it is beautiful. It's kind of like a fever dream, like I said, but I loved it. Question 7, favorite new author, debut or new to you? I'm really sorry, I said I wasn't gonna repeat authors and or books, but I have to. Josiah Bancroft and John Gwynne, these are 2 new authors that I discovered this year, and I will read everything they write. I will. These are auto by authors for me now. I love them. And they're my new favorites. What can I say? Question 8. Newest fictional crush. That spot is taken by Kaladin Stormblessed. It will always be Kaladin Stormblessed until the end of days. This spot will be filled by Kaladin Stormblessed. Question 9. Newest favorite character. Okay, there's a few. I'm just gonna say names because there's a few from the books that I've read that are not rereads, of course, and those are Edith Winters from the Babel books, Thomas Sandlin from the Babel books, Volida from the Babel books, which... especially in book 3, Volida. Veridis from The Faithful and the Fallen. I also really like Corbin. Not as much as Veridis, but I also like Corbin. Cohen from The Faithful and the Fallen. Captain Vimes from Guards, and also Carrot from Guards. Guys, there's a reason I talk about these books. These are so good. I love them. These series are what are marking my beginning of 2021, and I'm just so happy about it. Question 10. A book that made you cry. I mean, I already mentioned it. There's no book that made me cry as much as Ruin has this year. I sobbed, and thank goodness I had Leslie. Leslie, you were my rock reading this series, because she told me, Joanna, whatever you do, when you finish Ruin, you pick up Wrath immediately and read the first 4 chapters. I was like, okay, I trust in Leslie, we trust, and I did it, and I read it, and thank goodness Leslie was there. Seriously, Leslie, I owe you one. These books, they were an emotional roller coaster, and I just, guys, Ruin. I did also cry at my reread of The Hero of Ages, but I didn't want to mention rereads, but I did cry at those 2 books. I did. Question number 11, a book that made you happy. This one is a bit difficult because I don't tend to read books that are happy or that make me happy. So I think I'm going to be picking the two romances I read, which was The Flat Share and Beach Read, which I really like those. They made me smile. They made me happy. That's it. That's really it. Question 12. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received? Wow, I don't know. There are quite a few books that I think are beautiful. I'm looking at my book haul list from the year, and I would say some of them, I'm going to put the covers up here because I can still not carry them a lot because of my leg. But I would say that some of the most beautiful books I bought this year were the whole Ninth Reign trilogy. The covers are stunning. I will leave them up here. They're beautiful. My Guards, because I'm collecting them in the anniversary editions. Guards, I got Mort and I got Men at Arms, and these are all super stunning. Mask of Mirrors is beautiful. A Crown of Feathers is also super beautiful. I didn't know the cover was this beautiful, but in real life it is. There's just so many. Flamefall is beautiful. So those are some of the answers to this question. Question 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, all of them is always the answer. I have actually a books that I want to read in 2021, a series to start and a series to finish video, which I will all leave in the description of this video so you can check them out. I made them last year during Vlogmas. So I would ideally say those. But actually my main goals are to finish the Cosmere Unbounded books, which is to read Mistborn Era 2, which I will leave the Cosmere Unbound announcement up here or in the description depending on where I have space. I want to catch up with all of Abercrombie's books. I want to catch up with all of Gwyn's books. I want to finish Throne of Glass, which I only have 2 books left. And yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of books I need to read by the end of the year. There are a lot of books I want to get to by the end of the year. But yeah, I don't know. I will refer you to those lists. They probably have changed since then, to be honest. But yeah, those are some of the books that I need to get to. There's so many books, guys. So many books in so little time. So there you go, guys. This is my mid-year book freak attack. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments down below what is the best book you've read so far this year and what is your biggest disappointment. I'm very curious to know those 2 things. And if you want to leave an emoji for this video, you can leave a book stack because, you know, we're talking about a lot of books in this video. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, guys.